What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be discussing a player that recently called it a retirement and called it a career in terms of his NBA journey and basketball journey. And ladies and gentlemen, it's one of the more underrated, superstars, underrated players you could possibly think of in this league. His name is Jeremy Lin, the man that brought Linsanity to New York, the man that was so underrated over the course of his career, and something even I don't remember about Jeremy Lin, an NBA champion. Let's talk about Jeremy Lin. I guess some of the favorite moments you and I both have in relation to watching this man kind of come up in the NBA, the story he had, and everything in between. But before we get any further, if you liked the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know what you guys think about Jeremy Lin, the career he had. Do you think it was a successful career? Do you think it was an underwhelming career? Ultimately, I feel like people are going to have different opinions on this because Jeremy Lin, for a lot of his career, was a bench player, was a role player, or was, I guess, a borderline starter in his career, but not many people may have known, I guess, the story that he kind of came up with. He was creating history for a lot of the time he was in the NBA, and I'm pretty sure, according to the internet at least, he's the first Asian American player to win an NBA championship. So that is a big history-making moment if you're a Jeremy Lin fan, and of course, if you're an Asian American as well. So with that being said, let's get started. Ultimately, I think we can all truly appreciate what Linsanity was to New York. A player that no one expected to kind of rise into the situation he was in, and then he took over big time for that New York Knicks team. And you know what? Linsanity wasn't just a New York thing. It translated over to multiple teams. He had a very good career with the Houston Rockets as well. He had a couple of okay moments with the Lakers. He was a starter for a bunch of his time in the NBA. And the New York Knicks, and that situation, in my opinion, started what was a very good career. You know what? Something else I feel like we don't even talk about a lot with Jeremy Lin is that hairstyle he had a few seasons back. The big mohawk. I don't know what he was thinking there. Trying to be revolutionary in terms of his hair and whatnot. But, you know, I feel like, how could you make a Jeremy Lin video if you don't mention that hairstyle? That was an incredible hairstyle, if I do say so myself. But he also was a part of the NBA championship for the Toronto Raptors. And I feel like it's a fitting way to kind of end your career in many ways. I know that championship was a while ago, but at the end of the day, to kind of end your career as an NBA champion, I guess that was towards the end of his career, I guess you could say. I don't think he played much more NBA minutes after that, but, you know, he came from a place where he was scrutinized a lot, didn't really get much chances in the earlier parts of his career, and he kind of ended it off as a very good role player and as an NBA champion for one of the more historic championships in NBA history with the Toronto Raptors. I think that's a perfect sort of career in many ways. And again, you cannot talk about Jeremy Lin without talking about the fan base that he brought to the NBA. He is a fan favorite everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. He's a fan favorite, obviously, for what he brings to the table in terms of, you know, being an Asian American, being someone that can represent a lot of people, but his story as well, you know, being brought up and being scrutinized constantly to be able to get to a big stage NBA team, finally get a chance. Apparently he was cut from multiple NBA teams before he got the chance with New York. That's a little bit out of my element. I'm not sure how many teams he got cut from, but I know that he did get cut from a lot of teams, you know, and he had to fight in many ways, for many players, what would be a losing battle, you know, to get that opportunity, to get that chance. I mean, look at the NBA today, even now, how many players have to fight that losing battle to get an opportunity at the NBA? It's incredible. And he was an undrafted prospect as well, which makes it even more impressive. There are not many undrafted prospects that reach the potential that Jeremy Lin brought to the table. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he was the best player to ever play. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he was one of my inspirations in many ways, because I grew up watching Derrick Rose, you know, that was kind of my inspiration. But it's hard to ignore the career that Jeremy Lin had. And, you know, I love his values as well. I love the fact that he believes in the Lord. I love the fact that he's so open and honest about sharing his faith and everything like that as well. To me, I may have not watched him as an inspiration, but I look at him now as someone that I can look at and say, you know, I think I could take a little bit of what he can do and try to do it my own way. Maybe not in the basketball sense, because I'm nowhere near the basketball player that he is, but take aspects of what his attributes are as a man and try to implement it in my life as well. He is an inspiration in that regard. Yeah, maybe not in the basketball sense for me, but as a man, I think you can't get better than Jeremy Lin at that NBA level. So congratulations, Jeremy Lin, on your retirement. Linsanity was a strong time in the NBA. And it takes me back to the good old days of the NBA as well. I wish you nothing but the best on your journey. I don't know what's next for you. I don't know the ins and outs of what you do outside of the game of basketball. But whatever it is, I hope you are successful at it. And I hope, just like I guess your NBA career, you know, had to have a fighting chance, prove your worth, you know, whatever it is next, hopefully you have that fighter's chance and you show everybody why you could be a very valuable asset wherever you are. Thank you for watching, everybody. Congratulations, Jeremy Lin. I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care. And peace.